I want to take a moment to talk about Kyle Busch, one of the greatest NASCAR drivers we've seen in recent times. He left us too soon at just 41 years old. He had just celebrated his birthday on May 2nd, and then he passed away on May 21st, 2026, just 4 days after racing at Dover. It really shook us all in NASCAR, and honestly, it affected the entire motorsports industry too. I can't even imagine what his family is going through right now. I felt my heart rumble with emotions because I was at the Dover race myself and saw Kyle drive his number 8 Lucas Oil car. That was his last race before the tragic news came. He was supposed to race in the Coke 600 the following weekend, but couldn't make it because he had been battling pneumonia for weeks while racing, which took a turn for the worse and turned into sepsis. It's really heartbreaking how quickly things can change. Life is so precious, and this is a tough reminder of that. We shall keep the Busch family in our thoughts during this hard time. We take a moment to explore Kyle Busch's journey from humble racing beginnings to his dominance in the sport. For starters, if you watch NASCAR, you must know Kyle Busch. You hear his name a lot. Kyle Busch holds the all-time combined record across NASCAR's top 3 national series, Cup, O'Reilly, and Trucks, with 234 victories, 63 wins in the Cup Series, 102 in O'Reilly, and 69 in Trucks. He sits just behind the legendary Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the Cup Series. Kyle Busch is something else. He's the only driver to snag wins in all 3 of NASCAR's national series on the same weekend. Not once, but twice. That's straight up wild. A lot of y'all know him as Rowdy, but some newbie might be wondering why that nickname. It ain't just cause he speeds around the track, it's all about his vibe. Kyle's a fierce competitor. He doesn't play any games. When he's racing, he's giving it all, and sometimes it gets a bit intense. He's got that fearless spirit that makes him stand out in the crowd. People either love him or hate him, and that's what keeps it real. In these tough times, it's inspiring to see how Kyle never gives up. He's a reminder that we can push through no matter what life throws at us. Being called Rowdy meant he raced fearlessly and wasn't afraid to stir up drama. Like when you're feeling heat and just gotta let it all out, that's what he's about. So whether you're rooting for him or not, remember his journey is all about perseverance and passion. He might be a bit different, but that rowdy spirit is something special. It's all about being brave and never giving up, just like he does when racing. Born on May 2nd, 1985, Kyle Busch grew up in a family full of racers. His dad, Tom, was a mechanic and a stock car champ, and his older brother, Kurt, is a Hall of Fame driver and NASCAR Cup champ. Kyle jumped into the racing scene early, driving homemade go-karts in his neighborhood when he was just 6. He was too small to hit the gas, so his dad helped him out so he could focus on steering and mastering the basics. At age 10, Kyle became the crew chief for his brother's Dorf car team. He started racing at 13, running legend cars, achieving over 65 wins and 2 championship titles at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Bull Ring. By 2001, he moved to late model racing, scoring 10 wins in a single season. At 16, he debuted in the NASCAR Truck Series, using his brother Kurt Busch's NASCAR Cup career to enter NASCAR. Busch took the wheel of the number 99 Ford for Roush Racing during mid-season. He began in 2001, proving his natural talent almost instantly before NASCAR raised the minimum driver age to 18. Following that change, Busch had to wait 2 more years to re-enter NASCAR. Meanwhile, Busch graduated from high school early in 2002 to focus on his racing career. That year, he competed in the ARCA series with the number 22 Chevrolet for WP Motorsports. After turning 18, he made his Busch Series debut, now called the O'Reilly Series, with Namco Motorsports in 2003. Kyle signed a contract with Hendrick Motorsports for the Cup Series, not Roush Racing, despite his brother's team giving him a start in the Truck Series. Busch kicked off his NASCAR Cup Series career in March 2004 at his home track, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, driving the number 84 car for Hendrick Motorsports. He served as a part-time driver in his first season. Kyle Busch excelled at racing due to his natural talent and the knowledge he gained from experienced teammates like Jeff Gordon and Jimmie Johnson early in his career. When he drove for Hendrick from 2005 to 2007, he picked up all the little details of racing, like how to manage the gas and brakes. This hands-on experience helped him get better control of his car and figure out the best ways to tackle the track. Instead of sticking to just one way of racing, Busch learned tips from a bunch of veteran drivers, including Tony Stewart, who is known for being super aggressive. He became skilled at pushing his car to the max, which definitely got him noticed and earned him some respect from other drivers on the track. He also drew attention because he's the younger brother of Kurt Busch, who won the 2004 Cup Series championship. But Kyle didn't just ride on his brother's coattails. He made a name for himself real quick. In 2005, he stepped it up and became a full-time driver in the number 5 Chevy Monte Carlo. Now, here's where it gets exciting. At just 20 years old, Kyle broke records and became the youngest race winner in NASCAR Cup Series history. He joined in an elite group of 36 drivers, becoming the 14th person ever to win a race in all 3 of NASCAR's series. He wrapped up that year with 2 wins and earned recognition as the Rookie of the Year runner-up. Busch added 2 more Cup wins for Hendrick over the next 2 years, including winning the first ever Car of Tomorrow race at Bristol Speedway in 2007. After winning, Kyle Busch criticized the new generation of Cup cars. He was thrilled to win the race and share loudly how awful these cars are to drive. He's saying they sucked worse than his skill, with many drivers described as trying to steer a shopping cart with a broken wheel, frustrating and completely pointless. Just saying, to win the first race in the COT era of NASCAR driving like doo-doo shows how goated Kyle Busch was. In 2008, Busch moved to Joe Gibbs Racing and became a teammate of Denny Hamlin, taking over the M&M number 18 Toyota Camry. That car, number, and team pretty much became his trademark for most of his NASCAR Cup Series career, all the way until 2023. The 2008 season was fantastic for him. He won 8 races and was the top driver in the regular season. Although he didn't do as well in the playoffs, finishing 10th, everyone knew he was a top competitor. Overall, he won 21 races across all NASCAR series that year. In 2009, he won the NASCAR Nationwide Series and became known for racing in all the series on the same weekend. During this time, he also adopted his rowdy persona and developed some big rivalries, especially with Dale Earnhardt Jr. That said, in 2010, Kyle Busch became the first driver to win races in all 3 NASCAR series in the same weekend at Bristol. He also repeated that feat at Bristol in 2017. He set a record by winning 13 races in the former Xfinity Series in 2010. That year, he started his own racing team, Kyle Busch Motorsport, or KBM for short, and became very successful in the truck series in the years that followed, helping him win more races and support young drivers. In the main Cup Series, Busch and his number 18 Toyota secured multiple victories each season but kept failing just short of winning the championship. Eventually, he discovered the key to claiming the title, not once, but twice. He became a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion after overcoming some challenges. Back in 2015, he had a really rough start. He broke his leg and foot in a nasty crash at Daytona, so he missed the first 11 Cup races. Now, most people would be done after that, but not Kyle. He went through some serious rehab and came back just when the season was almost over. With only 15 races left, he fought his way up the points, won races, and somehow snagged a place in the NASCAR playoffs. It was one of those you won't believe it moments where he ended up winning the championship despite his injuries. Skip to 2019, and guess what? He did it all over again. Won 10 races and claimed his second Cup Series title. Talk about determination. Facing tough times but keep pushing anyway, you might just come out on top. is seriously one of the craziest and most talked about moments in NASCAR Cup Series history. Team owner Joe Gibbs cites this as the best example of Busch's guts and drive to win. Busch eventually announced leaving Joe Gibbs Racing after signing a multi-year deal with Richard Childress Racing for 2023. He switched over to the number 8 Chevy Camaro and kept racing full-time, racking up more wins right up to the last days of his life. Now, this is where things get dark. His sudden health decline and tragic passing. It really puts everything into perspective. Kyle Busch had been feeling sick with pneumonia and a respiratory infection for days to weeks before he died. That junk all came to light during the race at Watkins Glen on May 10, 2026, when Busch asked his crew for medical help due to a severe sinus cold and weeks of heavy coughing. Just listen.
Kyle Busch has been suffering from a sinus cold all week. Lost 5 spots on that pit stop. He has asked to have medical attention available after the race. Here's his radio.
And can somebody try to find Bill Heisel? He's the Hendrick doctor guy. Tell him I need him after the race, please.
Hey, do you want Mr. Bill at your car and at your bus after the race?
Bus. I'm gonna need a shot.
Copy. He'll be at your bus.
On May 15th, Kyle celebrated his final Truck Series victory at Dover and shared a really powerful, true message that'll make you reflect on life and take it to heart just 6 days before his death. Listen.
Somewhere in there would have been kind of what my goal was for the Cup Series, but take whatever you can get, man. You never know when the last one's going to be, so cherish them all. Trust me.
Kyle Busch, your 69th victory in this series, your 5th right here. Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is, so...
As I said at the start of the video, he couldn't race at the Coca-Cola 600 after the Dover All-Star race. On May 20th, while he was racing in a simulator in Charlotte, North Carolina, Kyle passed out, had trouble breathing, coughed up blood, and was sent to the hospital immediately. Unfortunately, his pneumonia got worse and turned into sepsis, which caused serious problems in his body, leading to his sudden death on May 21st. He passed away just 9 days before my birthday and only 4 days after his final race at Dover, which I happened to be at on May 17th, mind you. I'll never forget seeing his car in person for one last time. It was an amazing moment. But then just days later, I was in instant shock when I saw he was gone. It was like the moment of, you can't make this up. But it was real. Kyle Busch leaves behind his wife, Samantha, their son Braxton, and daughter Lennox. My heart goes out to his family and his brother Kurt. NASCAR announced that Richard Childress Racing has switched the number on its Cup Series car from number 8 to number 33. They've retired the number 8 for now until Braxton is old enough to drive it and continue Kyle Busch's legacy. Currently, Austin Hill stepped in to drive for the team. Kyle Busch is the king of modern NASCAR, and he's known as the bad boy of racing. He leans into that whole villain vibe, kinda like a movie character. Fans either really love him or can't stand him, but he's cool with that because he wants to win. He got his nickname Rowdy from a character in the movie Days of Thunder, and he's all about that competitive spirit. He's got the record for the most wins in NASCAR history, 234 victories. This dude hates losing. Even finishing second doesn't sit well with him. He's got this crazy energy every time he hits the track. And even though he's won a few championships and is a superstar in the sport, he still loves where it all started, the grassroots racing. So he's a true champ, and he pushes other drivers like his ex-teammate Denny Hamlin to step up their game too. That's real passion right there. Make your mark and prove your greatness regardless of where you start. On the other hand, life can be unpredictable, right? We all go through ups and downs, and sometimes we don't see things coming. Take the story of Kyle Busch. He was a legend on the racetrack, racing hard and living his dream. He was out there winning races, doing what he loved, and inspiring so many of us along the way. But then, out of nowhere, he faced a sudden health defeat. It hit like a ton of bricks. One moment, he was thriving, and the next, we were faced with the heartbreaking news of his passing. It's a tough reminder of how fragile life is and how crucial it is to cherish every moment we have. It's a lesson in supporting each other, staying connected, and recognizing that behind every smile and every win, there might be struggles we don't see. We push forward and honor those who have inspired us. We never know what tomorrow holds, but we can make today count. Ultimately, the point I want to make is that I don't care if you're pushing hard, trying to succeed, and love what you do. You gotta rest and take care of yourself first if you notice any signs of illness. You can't ignore your health. Your health is your number one priority and affects how well you do. So remember that goes for everything as you chase your own goals, alright? Keep your mind and body in check. Video ends here. Rest in peace, Kyle Busch. We'll miss you and remember you always as one of the greats of motorsports. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for some more motorsports and cars content. I'll see you next time. Chris the Radar, out.